Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Thank you all for coming by to see me. I appreciate everyone who comes for the live stream and everybody after the live stream. And I have been re-uploading to Bumble, and I want to say hi to the folks there. Anyway, folks, unleash the gates of hell. A lot of things have happened since my last broadcast, and very fast moving. So we're going to discuss a lot of that stuff. Andrew Tate got arrested. I have expressed for a number of years my opinion of that degenerate. And also picked up his brother. There's some controversy over that. I don't know why the hell it's controversy. But I can see why. I can see why our culture is has been subjected to a very sophisticated illegal psychological warfare campaign. But anyway, we're going to get into all that. But what do? I play videos while people get in. And one of my videos is going to be, was shown during the actual 2020 election. I'm saying that for utensil policy, so no one thinks it's out of time or out of step. Anyway, folks, this will give you time to get a cup of coffee, a nice cold brouhaha, or an adult beverage of your choice. And then what will we do? Oh my goodness, which video is this? We'll be like butter and get on a roll.
Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning, because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another or from one party to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth.
My name is Brian McCaffrey. I'm a registered Democrat in the city of Philadelphia. Today, I'm at the Philadelphia Convention Center, and I am overseeing the ballot counters. I will let you know the corruption that is going on here. They will not allow us within 30 to 100 feet to supervise the ballots being counted. This is a coup against the President of the United States of America, and I want to call out the Mayor of Philadelphia, James Kenney, the Attorney General, Josh Shapiro, who tweeted that there's no way Donald Trump can win President of the United States of America, and also the District Attorney of Philadelphia, Larry Krasner. I can't believe what I'm seeing right before my eyes. This has nothing to do with Joe Biden or Donald Trump. This has to do with our democracy, and I will tell you, there is corruption at the highest level in the city of Philadelphia.
The storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Now think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he perceives as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. Thank you for joining me tonight. And for any newbies watching, please be patient while I say hi to the folks that have stopped in to see me tonight. And that would be Roberto. Kim is here. And KNS Cleanup. How you doing, buddy? I gave you a shout out the other night. I haven't seen you, but I'm glad you made it tonight. Michelle. The screen's a little messed up. Sissy, haha, Robin, Elva, Todd's here, Robert's here, Johnny, nice to see you. Hello, Melinda, Tammy's here, you know who's next. Oh, Cole, ha ha ha. So, yeah, right on time. All right, let's see. Anybody else? Who else is rolling in? Being like butter and getting on a roll. All my lurkers out there. Kimberly, how you doing? You're not lurking tonight. You popped in to say hi. All right. Let's see. Kim, Cole, Elva, Tammy. Going down the list. Miss Mindersue is here. I could just read Miss Mindersue's chat. I get everybody's name then, wouldn't I? So maybe that's what I'll do in the future, just post Miss Mindersue's chat on the screen. Flannel Cheese, nice to see you. Nice to see you, Flannel Cheese. If I miss anybody, you know it's not on purpose. And if new people, anybody wants to have a discussion with me, hi, Darla, who takes the opposite view. Pappy Two Bears, nice to see you. I'm happy to have reasonable discussions. Marla, nice to see you. Oh, Marla's, yeah, there's a coffee cup. That's our Marla. Yeah, she got a different picture. Got them blonde highlights going. Ha, ha, ha. I noticed those things, did you? I used to have one lady come here. She had a white fuzzy hat on. Well, I won't. She's not here. I won't talk about her. Sherry's here. Nice to see you. But maybe she'll hear me and pop in the chat and say hi. Ha ha. Let's see. We got Linda Marie and oh my goodness. Everybody's rolling in. We'll all be famous for 15 minutes. Who's that said that? Andy Warhol. That's who. Wayne, how you doing? I got to thank people for going by, buy me a coffee. Wayne went by. Robin, I do appreciate it. There's Gary. Another one dropping a Moab, buy me a coffee like Miss Mindersue. So I will give shout outs for that. Let's see, I got to get my booms ready too. So anyway, new people coming in, that's the thing. That's what I do. All right. And we're going to talk about current events, what's happening. And, you know, with all the stuff that's going on, you got constant subversion from judges, from mayors, from governors, on down the line. Trump had to give almost $70 billion refunds again to domestic business owners, U.S. business owners about the tariffs. I should put that on the screen, but it's so much. I mean, I'll have 100 screenshots of things to put up. And I'm just going, and the left thinks, oh, that's just great. It's just great. They're people obviously importing crap from other countries and they do it for free. And that was our money. The 67 billion and this 40 some billion, and altogether it's going to, what we have to refund and what we've lost since that ruling is going to be around $250 billion and growing of money that Trump was planning on giving to the American people. So any way they can screw things up, they're going to do it. What should I talk about? Should I talk about those deviants, the Tate brothers? They got arrested in a long time. Man, where did I miss anybody? A long time coming with them Tate brothers. I never did like them. And I've mentioned other creators in the past. I caught a little guff for criticizing some so-called conservative commentators who like that guy. Okay. Hey, there's no room in that for me. No room in my world. But anyway, here we got all these all these lefties wanting to jump ship from the Democrat Party. And I had been focusing on Fetterman, right? Because he's the one everybody's saying, oh, good. We get Fetterman. We can pass this and pass that. I already said what I think about it. We just need to get rid of him and put a real Republican there. We don't need to. I know politics makes strange bedfellows. You want this thing in your bed? Here, he was on Maria Bartiromo show. Fetterman saying he would reevaluate affiliation with Dems over anti-Israeli policy. I'm just showing you because I've been over it a number of times. Thanks, but no thanks. We just got to get the creepos out. But who else is talking that kind of smack? Who else is here? You want this in your bed? Politics makes strange bedfellows. You want to wake up and look at this? He said, well, I'm thinking about leaving the party. If they don't straighten that, I'm not going to go for that crazy stuff. I can't stay with them Democrats. Now he's saying AOC unlikely to win Democrat nomination. No kidding. But as I keep saying, you made your bed, you lay in it. You sit in your own pew. The church of the Democrat Party, sit in your own pew. So there's somebody else too who's talking about Bill Maher. He not, Hey, you had just as much of a hand in it as anybody else. I had a couple of clips from him I didn't play because sometimes I get in trouble for playing a Bill Maher clip. Like some kind of big copyright anybody gives a damn about. He ought to be glad anybody's putting him on the screen. But, like they say, bad publicity better than no publicity. Where is that? And that's Stephen Colbert. They used to hit me with that garbage too. Copyright. Like he's saying anything important. But anyway, here's Zohran Mamdani. Zohran Mamdani, what does he say? AOC would make a good president. Well, James Carville and what's his name? Bill Maher and John Fetterman. Here's your fellow Democrats.
And I would say that I'm still very much focused in this year, but I do believe that we all have to take a step back and appreciate what it is that she means to so many across this country, and the reason for it is the work that she has done.
You think she'd make a good president?
I think she would make a good anything. I think she's a great congresswoman. I think no matter what she decides to do, she's going to bring those same qualities to whatever that work is.
Yeah, well, you ought to be deported, denaturalized, been thrown out of the damn country, and she needs to go back to bartending. Wait till they find out what, she's pulled some stunts with money and all that crap. What else is Zohran Mamdani up to? He wants to arrest Netanyahu. He wants to arrest Netanyahu like he's got any kind of authority. You ought to be arrested even for inciting the public, okay, against the head of state. You're just a punk mayor. Mamdani said he's still looking into arresting Netanyahu if Israeli leader visits New York. Bringing the Arab-Israeli conflict onto our soil, okay? What did he do? Skip a toll at the subway? What did he do that you have any authority over? New York City's Mayor Zoran says his office is still looking to arresting Benjamin Netanyahu if the prime minister visits the city. For the United Nations General Assembly, your ass will be the one going to jail. You know, you'll be sitting in a paddy wagon with Andrew Tate and his dopey brother. Somebody put up a response to it, you know, and they put more work into it than I would have. I think this is it. He's not worth this much typing. But Ambassador Mike Walsh put it up. Mayor Mamdani, here's why your threat to arrest Prime Minister Netanyahu in New York City during UNGA is not going to happen. The U.S. is not party to the Rome Statute that underlies the ICC, International Criminal Court. Oh, but Jack Smith is there. The UN headquarters agreement grants diplomatic protections to visiting heads of the government. Head of state immunity applies, and federal authority trumps any local mayor's wishes. This is pure political theater. Well, that's a nice, he is a diplomat, he is an ambassador, that's a nice diplomatic way to say it. But I would have said it more like what I said earlier. Okay? We'll throw your rear end out of the country. So anyway, I got a lot of stuff. Stephen Miller's come out. He said some good stuff. Dan Scavino posted this picture. I don't go to Instagram. Maybe I won't have to, but he posted this. It was a video. I didn't upload it because I had to go to Instagram. But anyway, it's a B-1 bomber with jets F-35s behind it. What do you make of that? What do you think they're flying over? A little bit of Overwatch going on in Greenland? Are they scouting out a site for the Great American Greenland Seacot, where we're going to have to put all these creeps? Remember I said that. The Greater American Greenland Seacot. Wonder what the acronym would be for that. But anyway, yeah, we got a lot of people are going to end up going to jail. There was a report out about Qatari operatives in Congress. We'll get some more stuff. We'll get some more stuff on that. Like in the House and also serving. Let's see. I'm just looking through the chat, see if anybody. Mac, how you doing? Nice to see you. Yeah, Stephen Miller spelled it out. Here's one of the stories on him here. I mean, he's gloves off. He's telling, and the left can't stand him. They can't stand him. Illegal aliens to lose access to American banking services under Trump administration in a move to encourage self-deportation. That's right. No more debit cards, credit card processing, okay, scribbling out a check, nothing, none of that. And that's going to go to, what's some of these services? PayPal and, the ones, I don't remember all. But anyway, the Treasury Department just issued new guidance to financial institutions, to banks. So, going to be kind of hard to transfer money. And they get into those Western Union, telegrams, and all that kind of stuff, where they can shoot money back home. They're gonna rock that little boat too. You watch. So we'll get them. I know. No, I am concerned about this mass amnesty undercurrent that's been going around. But hey, you cut off their funding for social programs, HUD, SNAP, fuel assistance, rental assistance, welfare, Social Security, disability. Believe it, there are illegals on all that stuff. So, and their ability to conduct business. You can't go on the internet without some kind of bank account. Then they'll be beating feet for back home, especially if, like Trump says, when we catch you, we're going to confiscate everything. Okay, and we're going to fine you, what is it, $900 a day or something like that, for every day you were here illegally. Stephen Miller again. What we've found since President Trump took office is that Democrats have set up a system. Get a screenshot of this and put it on your meta page. To funnel hundreds of billions, ultimately trillions of dollars to migrants in our country, effectively with the sole intent of overthrowing the constitutional republic of the United States. And I look at the tariff decision by SCOTUS in the same way. Along with the coordinated literally installing so-called college graduates in local government to influence property taxes, collection methods, and assessments, and increase pressure on property owners in the middle class, because the final goal, they're on stolen land anyway, and they have to learn how to own nothing and be happy. So, this is important. And remember, I had a back and forth with a person in here, and I said companies were bringing trillions of dollars of investment. And I lost my temper with them and got rid of them because just asinine in their method of discussion. Apple, which one? There's one company that said they were going to put in billions of dollars, $250 billion between two major companies out of dozens and dozens and dozens. That's $250 billion. They said, no, they're not putting trillions of dollars in our economy. We had one group that Trump highlighted in his press conference and had the guy come up to the mic and speak. His group put in $500 billion. That's $500 billion. Just those two scenarios, you're at $750 billion. And you do the math on the tariff money. That's supposed to be in our pockets already. Manufacturing and all these jobs the Obama cabal ran off were very damaging to our economy, very damaging. And couple that with this infusion of illegals. I might play this later. I don't know. What do y'all think? Let me know in the chats if you want to hear this. Strict Headmaster Catherine, do you all know who she is? Burbasing is brilliant. Best video this week. Destroying the narrative of oppressor and oppressed. Let me know if you want to hear that video. I might play it later. I keep on talking about I uploaded it. I said to myself, well, should I go ahead and do it? Well, speaking of CCOT, You know, some of these boneheads, they don't deserve Guantanamo. You know, it's pretty down there. And they got that brand new geriatric unit, you know. But anyway, some of them need to go to the Greater American Greenland Seacot. This is one of them. Trump posted this today. Guilty. There he is. Jack Smith, member of the International Criminal Court. Or judge or something on a I don't know what the hell he is. Jack Smith spied on me in Congress. This illegal weaponization needs to end. So the illegal weaponization is becoming part of our lexicon. But we will hear again what I have repeated numerous times, which is illegal psychological warfare. Think ABC, NBC, CNN. And I think CBS kind of wiggled out of it with the sale. Oh, I meant to get that picture of Dianne Feinstein cornering Lisa Murkowski. Remember? Threatening her. What? Question mark. Because here we go with Lisa Murkowski. GOP senator comes out firmly against the SAVE Act. Do we have anybody from Alaska? We know one. Lisa Murkowski confirms she is firmly opposed to the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility, a landmark election integrity bill that has become Donald Trump's top priority. Remember, Dianne Feinstein. I'll get that picture and put it up next time. Dianne Feinstein, we visibly saw her turn gray after the many played clips, the clip that I played of Lindsey Graham asking Brett Kavanaugh about unlawful combatants, those who are aiding and abetting foreign entities to subvert our government, and what happened to the Americans who assisted German spies. They were executed. And that was discussed I played the video many times. The story behind that, after that happened, Dianne Feinstein had to leave her seat, go into a conference room, and was a nervous wreck, had a private meeting with other senators, including Lindsey Graham, to clarify what was being said. And when she walked out of that meeting, they said she looked like she'd seen 10 ghosts. Dianne Feinstein. And we have that picture of Dianne Feinstein leaning over top of Lisa Murkowski, trying to dissuade her from voting for Brett Kavanaugh. And we had video of her bragging about her doing business. Doing business with the CCP and taking trips and visits to Shanghai, as she used to say. Shanghai. You can't go over and do business with foreign nations like that and get away with it, especially when they're undermining our elections. So that's the big bombshell nobody's been talking about. 270 some thousand illegals registered. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about the Chinese Communist Party having the sensitive information of over 200 million Americans. Remember how they raised hell? How they raised hell because Doge was trying to find fraud and criminality. We don't want to give away our personal information. They don't bat a damn eye when they're told about the Chinese Communist Party having all their so-called sensitive information. And what can we put that towards? That type of attitude. One of the main culprits, I'm trying to get her on the screen, is this Randy Weingarten, the American Federation of Teachers. Her working hand in hand with Michelle Obama, okay, and turning our school system into a recruitment center for Marxists, communists, and degenerates, and to push a philosophy of transgenderism. That's what we got. And saying that we're on stolen land, and for all intents and purposes, that our entire government is illegitimate and criminal from its inception. That's stripping away all the nice talk and telling it like it is. But look at this lunatic. This who has been setting the agenda for our children for how many years? Her and Michelle Obama.
Enormous power. But this is what they don't have. The power of the people. That is the power and potential of our movement and of the AFT. Oh, and one more thing. We get done.
What Donald Trump does, whether you consider him an authoritarian or not, is the throwing out of so much stuff that people just throw up their hands and say, oh no, what are we going to, all I want to do is stay home, and for those of us who drink, have a glass of wine, or for me, some vodka.
Well, that's not exactly educational.
You got that right. It's subversive. It's subversive. And like him or not, Mike Pompeo, he was asked, who was the biggest criminal we had going out there? He's talking about what organization was the most damaging. What did he say? The NEA. Hi, Dean. How you doing? Oh, man, she minister of what? Whiskey paying? Whiskey paying? Oh, I tell you what, who we heard from. We haven't heard from in a while, but we were told to keep an eye. Told to keep an eye on her. I got to put my microphone in. Because she's going to talk about the CIA. Another thing I used to have to break my words up and all this stuff because of the sensorial ship of everything, right? But we were told to follow the pen. You know, I took that to mean Catherine Herridge. And we all remember her famous report on Guantanamo Bay and the courtrooms that were being set up. Brand new, and going to have an area for the media to be able to cover the defendants in the dock, the JAG attorneys, the defense attorneys, all for it to be put out there for the American people to see. Remember Catherine Herridge's report? China wanted me to lose in 2020 is what Trump is saying. Yes, but Catherine Herridge is going to talk about the evidence that has cropped up where all these characters were doing everything they can to block good information about Trump and to seditiously assist China in their illegal psychological warfare campaign. Let me get my headphones in so I can hear it along with you. My hearing's, well, anyway, let me see if I can get through it.
So first, just your reaction to the president's announcement.
Well, I think it's a very significant announcement, not only what he said, but the fact that they are releasing these documents so that we can really fact check the claims we heard this evening. I've been digging into the documents already, and I found this November 2020 email. And it specifically states, it's a conversation among intelligence officials. It specifically states that they have, quote, deliberately massaged one of our pending PDBs, that's the president's daily brief, to avoid any direct links to the election. And that is consistent with my reporting. I understand the whistleblower complaint alleged, and I think we're now seeing it in the emails, that there was an intentional effort to suppress intelligence about China's influence operations. And this was, Katie, like a massive effort, what they call a multi-domain operation. That means trade, it means diplomacy, it means open source information, it means social media. So all the levers of power China had to influence the U.S. elections.
In your reporting, you've said that a senior intelligence official emphasized to you that in 2020, China was not held to the same standard as Russia and other adversaries, including North Korea, Iran, and proxies like Hezbollah, and that the Chinese influence operations were consistently downplayed while Russia's were routinely amplified. You also talked about this whistleblower who was reportedly retaliated against for trying to bring this information to light.
So in the summer of 2020, as we're heading into the election, in the intelligence community, there were indicators of this Chinese influence operation. Influence operations means that you're trying to affect the outcome of how people vote or their sentiment about a presidential candidate. It's different than an interference operation, which is penetrating voting rolls and voter systems. And this whistleblower was raising the alarm about the influence operation, and then suddenly it all...
I don't mean to interrupt, but she's getting to very subtle legalese, if you'll notice. The difference between an influence operation and an interference. You know, it piqued my interest when she got into that kind of minutia, legal minutia, because we're going to be seeing people who are going to be on trial, in some cases for their very lives, or the remainder of their lives, whether they're going to be free or not. And it'll get down to the minutia. It'll get down to mens res, actus reus, mens res, which we've discussed for years. And also later on this report, you'll hear a young man talk about how in many offices, government offices, they refuse to put up Trump's picture. I mentioned that years back too. You would go in the post office that was run by maniacal blue hairs with metal in their face, or a social services office, and they had their pictures of Barack Hussein Obama up, but when Trump was in for his first term, it was a bare wall or a picture of a dandelion or something. But anyway, let this continue. I like the minutia, the legal minutia. I know it's boring, but it gives me the notion that people are starting to look at the nuts and bolts legally, like we're going to be watching during a live trial.
All was suppressed. My understanding is that some of their reports, there were in officials' own handwriting that they wanted everything out that could help President Trump in his reelection. So there was clear evidence of political and personal bias, and intelligence is supposed to be neutral. So what we heard tonight from the president is an allegation that this intelligence was suppressed in order to harm him, and now we're seeing documents already which back up those claims.
What we just heard was that the CIA was doing everything possible to make sure that Donald Trump was not elected. They were hiding evidence. They were hiding evidence of election interference from China. They were making sure that Democrats were going to get elected. So this is somebody who worked at the CIA during the Trump administration. And he basically confirms everything that they're saying, that everybody at the CIA hated Trump. They didn't recognize him as a president. Just take a listen. It's exactly what you would expect.
You're working at CIA during the Trump election. What was the view of that within the CIA? What do people think of Trump at CIA?
Well, what I found interesting was every government building usually has the picture of the president, the vice president. In this particular case, I don't know how many months it took them to eventually put the picture of the president and the vice president up on the wall, as if they didn't even want to recognize him as the president or the vice president. I mean, it got so bad in one of my offices that one of the leaders actually spoke out and said, look, we have to respect the chain of command. If you find yourself mentally distressed because Trump won the presidency, go seek some psychological help.
They didn't want to recognize a chain of command. And if you got a problem, go see a doctor. They should have told him, you got a problem, get the hell out. And that's what's happening right now with Putin. They're going through the past information, and these people that got a problem are just being fired. Okay? Unless they have a come to Jesus moment and straighten their rear ends out, they're just getting fired. We don't need subversives in the government. And like Mark Wayne Mullen said, and like I said, it's maybe just a redemption tour. Maybe he'll make it, maybe he won't, in my eyes. But he said, we'll make sure not only will they be out of a job, but they'll never have a position of, I'm paraphrasing, a position of public trust again. People that are aiding and abetting these illegal aliens or that are acting in a subversive manner with the government. So anyway, here we go with Stephen Miller.
The collusion hoax against President Trump remains the single greatest hoax and the greatest assault on our democracy in the history of this country. There's no comparison, there's no parallel to anything else. It was a coup. And I'm using that term literally. It was a coup to overthrow a democratically elected government, a coup carried out by the intelligence apparatus of this country, by the deep state, by Hillary Clinton and the Democrat Party. The new information that has been revealed by the Director of National Intelligence and by the FBI eliminates any scintilla of doubt about the intention, the premeditation, the planning and orchestration of this conspiracy. It meets all of the criminal elements of a seditious conspiracy against the United States. It meets the criminal elements of an insurrection. It meets the criminal elements of a conspiracy against the government and the criminal elements of a conspiracy to deprive citizens of their civil rights under color of law. One egregious felony after another. And because it is a conspiracy, as demonstrated by the forethought of realizing and documenting that they understood that this was fake from the beginning, meeting the mens rea standard in law. Because of that, because it is a conspiracy, every single individual actor is now part of that conspiracy. So that includes Brennan and Clapper and Comey and Hillary and Schiff and everybody else who knowingly and willfully perpetrated this plot, this coup, this conspiracy, this scheme against President Trump and the government of the United States. And now is the time and the hour and the moment for accountability.
Once again, he put it out plump and plain. They have met the criteria for very serious crimes. And I'm going to keep this clip. Maybe I'll put it on Rumble as a short. But anyway, it can't get more plump and plain than that. Sorry to hear about your loss, Roland. I'm sorry to hear about your loss. Your last brother. How many brothers did you have? It's tough when you have a family member pass. I was fortunate to have my parents till I was much older than most people. And you don't really realize you think it's going to be a certain way forever, and it's just not. But anyway, yeah, our prayers are with you, Roland. You hang in there, buddy. And our friend Randy? Have we seen Randy? I hope you're out there, Randy, and listening and feeling better. Hi, Wanda. Nice to see you. Oh, thank you, Mr. Minister, reminding me again because let me get Maria off. I was warming up my booms, and one of them went right off on Maria. So anyway, I'll put up a couple of faces. I don't mind. Let my booms go on. How about these two? Speaking of seditious conspiracy. Anyway, what I did was I put a link in the chats about 2 minutes ago. Was it 2 minutes ago? The 41-minute mark or somewhere around there, 42-minute mark for Buy Me a Coffee. Kaboom! And I want to thank everybody this week that's gone Buy Me a Coffee. It's much appreciated. We had Younger Gang, kapow! And Pappy Two Bears, kaboom! And Gary came by and dropped a Moab, boom, boom, boom. I appreciate that, Gary. And Mike and Bev. I should say some of these names every week because they come like clockwork. I appreciate it, Mike and Bev. Kaboom! And Robin and Wayne. Kaboom! Kaboom! Booms for you. I appreciated Miss Mendersu for her Moabs. Boom, 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 boom. Ha, ha, ha. So here's what I need to do for them. The ones I got on the screen, I don't think I get in trouble for this special effect. But I mean, kapow, kapow, kapow. That's why. What do I got? A 45. Pow, 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 pow. I need a 47 caliber now. Maybe even a 48. But anyway, Gary's got some booms in there. All right. So anyway, thank you, Pappy. Everybody that hi, Rain, how you doing? So anyway, what are these creeps on the screen for? Nobody's reporting but Newsmax. A federal appeals court has set a September date. We got to go all the way to September to hear arguments on the Trump administration's attempts to revive criminal cases against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. We got to wait is it hopefully being coordinated maybe with JAG? I don't know. But I tell you what, Sidney Powell, I remember her giving a speech, and she said that there were trillions of dollars riding worldwide on Donald Trump's election, that governments were looking at losing trillions of dollars. And that's what the impetus behind them trying to get Donald Trump out. And who in America is assisting and aiding and abetting foreign countries? Here's this chick who self-described as running a shadow government. Christina Guaya put this up. What's her name? People are demanding Microsoft, Bill Gates, fire former FBI agent Nikki Flores or lose their federal contracts. Damn straight. After newly declassified documents show Flores admitted to running a shadow government to help China interfere in the U.S. elections. FBI. The documents show that Flores withheld critical information from President Trump about China. Included in the documents, internal communication from late September 2020, right before the presidential election. In them, Flores, then a senior FBI counterintelligence division official and foreign influence task force lead, recalled an intelligence report after a tip came in about a Chinese election interference in September 2020, right before the November presidential election. Now I want to ask y'all, I'll read the rest of a little part in a minute. I want to ask y'all, you think she had any interactions with people like James Comey or Peter Strzok or Lisa Page or Nellie Orr or Bruce Orr? Remember those names? Trump used to call her the beautiful Nellie Orr. And of course, she's got one of them shovel faces. She looked like she rolled down a 50-foot hill and somebody whacked her in the face with a shovel. But it's, I guess they're born that way. I don't know. But anyway, you think she might be a bird that sings? Because they got her. They got her. Anyway, after the tip, and IIR, internal intelligence report was generated but quickly recalled at the direction of FBI headquarters officials, including Flores. So anyway, when do birds sing? When do birds sing? Looks like a bird to me. Ha ha! It's a bird. It's a plane. Oh my goodness! All these people that might be looking at jail. I mean, long time jail. Why am I putting this guy's picture up? All the dirt and gross stuff that's going to be coming out. Tim Walz and a picture of a Mo and then Lester, right? Two guys, Mo and then Lester. Here we go. Christina Guaya again. Governor Tim Walz pardoning an illegal immigrant P3 who assaulted a child for 2 years. Tim Walz said, everybody has had a bad day. Did that make us any safer? Did that make the children that are left behind any more stable? Did it improve the idea that we can't all be judged by our worst day? That's Tim Walsh talking. What about your worst day? I think we're going to find out about your bad days, right? With the t-shirt up the yin yang and your trips to China with kids. The Minnesota governor defended pardoning the convicted S3X offender by questioning whether people should be judged solely by their worst actions. Walsh made his remarks after the Trump administration deported To Lu Vong, an illegal immigrant from Laos. Vong, then 42, had been convicted of first-degree criminal S3 actual conduct for repeatedly assaulting a 10-year-old girl over 2 years. Now get a load of this. Court records show Vang admitted to the abuse, initially downplaying it as a minor thing, saying it was a cultural thing, then blamed the victim, saying she should be arrested too. Why you have sympathy for this person, Tim Walsh? How can you say that he had a bad day? Very sympathetic. Wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you say? Speaking about, I don't talk about this Andrew Tate crap. I listen to some creators. And, from the very day one, I said he was a cyber pimp. Okay? He was a smut merchant. He was trash, garbage. He should be in jail. I've said that for years. And almost as harsh words for types like Russell Brand. And I'm firm in that position. So he gets arrested. Now the word is some of these people saying Trump's going to let him off. Because Trump doesn't want to lose midterm elections because young people like him, Andrew Tate, all these young men. This guy is supposedly teaching young men how to be men, how to be trash, how to be disrespectful. What would the word? Cads. Even worse than a cad. I'm looking for here it is. And I didn't pay much attention to his brother. I didn't even know he had a brother. But he does. Influencer brothers, Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, arrested in Miami. Yeah. And Saturday in Miami, as British authorities sought their extradition on rape and sex trafficking charges. Well, why would Trump come to his rescue? They say Trump had something to do with him wiggling out of that Romanian business, right? Those charges are still pending in Romania. Hi, sweet daydreams. How you doing? So he really didn't wiggle out of it. And they said, well, he's been to Mar-a-Lago. Daggone it, my mic wore. I remember the clip of him being at Mar-a-Lago. They stuck him out back at the pool at a plastic table, okay? And he was like, had a camera set up. He was by himself. He said, here I am having lunch at Mar-a-Lago. And he was clearly put, it's where the servants go eat, It's where the employees eat. He wasn't even near the pool. He's like on some covered patio away from the real guests who were inside in the air conditioners and cushion chairs and tablecloths and crystal glasses. No, he's out there with a red Solo cup, and the waitress comes up and dumps a sandwich in front of him and walks away. He showed up, and they said, "Oh, let's do something with him." So he doesn't have any big contacts with Donald Trump. He says he does. But I'm going to tell you what is, I think, the real story. Oh, by the way, Keir Starmer said this. This was posted today by Keir Starmer. I'm proud to leave the country in a better state and in a better situation than I found it. Outgoing Prime Minister Keir Starmer. You know why he got driven out? What was the final nail in his political coffin? Was the RAPE gangs and the cover-up of thousands and thousands of girls. That's what finally got rid of him. And the one coming in, how much you think he had to do with this arrest order? And people are saying, "Oh, Trump must not be aware of it." The U.S. Marshals, got the order from somewhere and just swooped in and got Andrew Tate. Are you crazy? You think they would do something without the State Department okay, and the State Department okay would conduct a high-profile arrest like this without Donald Trump knowing about it? Are you crazy? Here he is getting arrested. I thought he had like high heels on or something. He's got these, well, how can I describe his shoes? Gay shoes on. I said, man, he looks like he's wearing, if they were ruby red, Dorothy slippers. But anyway, yeah. Now watch this tape real close. I'll play it twice. They grab him, and he tries to give it's quick. You got to watch for it. That's why I'll play it twice. He tries to give his phone to one of his employees, and they don't react quick enough. So he just drops it by his left foot. And one of the other security guards or somebody comes and picks it up, and the marshals don't even notice. So I don't know if that's a training issue or what. I'd have said, no. Cough it up, just like they did with Donna Adelson. She tried to give her phone to her husband. But anyway, that's all right. The small potatoes. But here he is getting arrested.
Come back. Oh, shit. Come over here by me. Let's go. Back up. What's going on? Back up. Come back. Oh, shit. Come over here by me. Let's go.
Did you see the phone drop? Anyway, he got away with it. But anyway, Donald Trump is not going to step in. Now, hey, if something happens to prove me wrong, keep in mind that the damage to the culture over in the UK is tremendous. This guy has converted to Islam. All right? He was over in the United Arab Emirates and proclaimed himself a Muslim. He should have stayed there. Okay? But he didn't. He's been running around bragging how he's going all over the world and nobody can touch him, how he's a big buddy of Donald Trump, and he's doing the same thing. He admitted to inducing women by saying he loved them, insinuating he wanted to have children with them. And, back in the day, not too long ago, you could have gone to jail for that, taking advantage of abusing somebody using affairs of the heart, just like they had back in the day, alienation of affection. If you were to do that towards somebody's spouse, okay? Apparently either one, the husband or the wife, because he's mentioned how he engages in both situations, okay? So anyway, yeah, he's a degenerate, and he deserves whatever in the hell he gets. And you think Donald Trump would risk any kind of political capital for this creep? Hell no. And something else I'm going to point out. You'll think it's not related, but I'll show you how it is. There's a new sheriff in town in the UK, okay? Just like there's a new sheriff in town across the world and in the United States, Donald J. Trump. The people of Aberdeen and Scotland are dancing in the streets because the new Prime Minister, Andy Burnham, has stated that he will be opening up all the way the invaluable North Sea oil. It is one of the greatest sources of quality oil on earth, has hundreds of years of capacity left, with much not even found yet, and will make the United Kingdom from a poverty-stricken disaster to one of the richest countries anywhere in the world. How long has Donald Trump been telling them that? To go to the North Sea. Britain pays Norway billions of dollars to buy its oil, which they get from a less valuable part of the North Sea. How ridiculous is that? Also, word is that the UK is going to move the old and horrible-looking windmills. Oh, what monstrosities those damn things are. Foolish monstrosities. All because of this climate cult, which loom over and destroy the city of Aberdeen. That will be a big day for the country and will be very much appreciated by everybody. Such a great potential in the UK, but it all starts with opening the North Sea oil. We love you, Scotland, President Donald J. Trump. Well, he certainly did announce, this new guy, that they're going to be opening the North Sea. There's going to be a fundamental shift. There is going to be deportations of these criminal migrants in the UK. And who got released today? I had a 5-minute video of this person 2 years ago, and I didn't play it. It was him for 5 minutes getting handcuffs put on him. And he had a heavy accent. But he was being arrested. He's a teacher, a Christian teacher. Freed after spending nearly 700 days in prison. Andrew Tate gets arrested. This guy gets freed. The North Sea is going to be opened up for oil drilling. Why did this guy spend 700 days in jail? And I hope Andrew Tate spends 10 times more than that. Irish teacher Enoch Burke has been released from prison after spending nearly 700 days behind bars during a legal battle involving his refusal to use a transgender identifying student's preferred pronouns, which he said conflicted with his Christian beliefs. Supporters say he was punished for his faith, while critics say the issue was his repeated refusal to follow court orders. Illegal court orders, unnatural court orders. In this case highlights growing conversations around religious freedom, conscience, and standing firm in one's own convictions. In Scotland, part of the UK, yeah. Okay, so we're arresting the degenerates. We're freeing people of conscience, okay, that want to actually protect children from delusional degenerates that are cultivating them into a lifestyle that's against God and our founding principles of this nation and other nations around the world, of Western civilization. So they're being freed, and the degenerates are being locked up. So no, Donald Trump is not going to do anything to free Andrew Tate. And there is no, they get into Qatar, United Arab Emirates is influencing Trump, and Andrew Tate has these young men's votes he could take from Trump. Oh, screw all that. Here's something else from Trump. We're holding Canada responsible for the fact that they're not properly maintaining their forests and brush therein, and the United States being unnecessarily invaded by filthy, polluted, and unhealthy air, the quality of which is dangerous and totally unacceptable. I will call, how many of you all are dealing with the haze and smoke from those fires? I will call the Prime Minister during the day to find out what they're going to do about it. The cost is incalculable. Canada has refused to engage in basic forest management and debris removal, knowing that such refusal will lead exactly to this result. This is willful negligence. That's another term to keep in your kidneys, okay? I'm poking the side of my head, your kidneys. Keep it willful negligence and becoming a yearly occurrence, costing the United States billions of dollars, which costs of this pollution must necessarily be added to the tariffs Canada is currently paying. Thank you for your attention, Madam President Donald J. Trump. So Canada said, oh, well, we always help. Why don't you help us? Why don't you send us some money? And is this the article? Let me see. That Ford guy? Rather than complain, send support, says Doug Ford to the U.S. lawmakers upset about smoke. Well, wait a minute. I'll read this, but what a lot of people don't know is every time Newsom and his cronies had those fires in California and no water purposefully, they would engage Canadian fire suppression services. In other words, we were every year pumping millions and hundreds of millions of dollars to the Canadian government to be on standby or to send a plane to dump water. You know how much they were charging us? Now, Trump's cut that little money racket off. Okay, so what are they doing? As former water bomber pilot, he used to lead an aerial firefighting fleet. I can tell you, send help is an extremely dishonest framing by the Canadian government. The Canadian government routinely blocks U.S. firefighting companies from attacking fires in Canada, while aggressively sending their government-subsidized aircraft to the U.S. to earn commercial rates from the U.S. taxpayer. It's big business for them, and they run it like a Chinese protectionist racket. How many Americans have no idea that this stuff is going on? We're finding out now if anybody cares to pay attention. Speaking of Gavin Gruesome Newsom, here he is. Oh, man. What do you say? Greenland, Seacott, or Cuba for this thing? This was after Trump's speech. What's going on in the chats? We got somebody hollering and carrying on. Let me see. Hi, Dean. I already said hi, Dean. I thought we had somebody new. New come-in shots. Anyway, this is a 25th Amendment moment. He's talking about Donald Trump after Trump gave a speech about the Chinese interference. I just watched the ramblings of a mad king. And what else can I say? The only thing missing was tin foil. Donald Trump is trying to rig our elections, and we have to stop him. Show up and vote this November. How the hell could asking for voter ID be rigging an election? How can they square that circle? Lisa Murkowski knows. Apparently. Yeah, we got to take it warts and all. That's what my father used to say. Oh, yeah, let me tell you, how many billions of people have come and gone that knew something was wrong, not only with our country, but with the entire world, and had no notion that these were the times that were coming. We are very fortunate to be living in these times. And what can you do to facilitate a positive outcome or to assist? It's not the time to be idle, you know. And that's the only reason I broadcast. I mean, I know I'm going through a biblical period, honor to go through this, and yeah, I don't know what more I can do, but put my little voice out there and hope for the best. Right now, we lost four more service members, and two in an initial strike. I have some video of that. And then one was missing that they found. And then another one tried to disable a unexploded ordnance and lost his life. Of course, CNN got to put that up. U.S. service member in a black background and white letters. U.S. service member killed in Iraq during controlled detonation of downed Iranian drone. U.S. military said. Of course they're going to pretend about their concern, but they didn't give a damn about the thousands that have been maimed and killed by Iran for the past 47 years. Didn't say anything about the losses at Abbey Gate or Benghazi, right? But if they can smear Donald Trump, oh, we lost a service member. They don't have our good in mind. They don't care about those service members. Anything to get negative sentiment riled up against Trump. So they're despicable. And whatever we do has to be justified and explainable. Something that's justified in the eyes of history and the eyes of the law. Donald Trump posted this. Dana Bash. What's happening here? Jack Posobiec. She said the quiet part out loud. It's a 17-second clip, by the way. Breaking, CNN tells their audience not to worry about fraud in California. It's just like 2020, where Republican ballots are counted culturally first before Democrat ballots come in. What does she mean by that? Do y'all hearing that? What does she mean by counted culturally? Look at that face. Why the long face?
Dynamic that we saw back in 2020 when states took longer to vote. It looked like Republicans were doing better at the beginning. They tend to vote earlier. The votes tend to be counted just culturally, not even sure why, tend to be counted first. And then once the votes that are already there legally are counted, it looks different.
Already there legally get counted first. What does that mean? Then you count the illegal one? All right, what the hell are you saying, woman? Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and play this clip. Do y'all want to see it? Or I didn't see people react. Catherine Berbasing. Do you all know her? Has anybody heard of her? Wanda said yes. Do you all know who this is? You all know who that other lady was from Prometheus Action. I've heard of her. I didn't know her, though. Well, I'm going to go ahead and play it. Wanda said yes, so what do you expect from me? Oh, don't tell me she's got an alien head under all that hair. Don't tell me that. I think I do. Rain said no. Rain don't want to hear. I'm looking through the chats. Rain said no. Wanda said yes. Robert said no. Let us see, which means yes. Kim says she knows her face. All right, let's see if everybody knows her.
The culture shift comes from what children learn at school and online. Ask any young person what history they learned at school, and they'll tell you Hitler. Ask them what else? Slavery. Ask them what else? American civil rights. In fact, what little they know of history will be all about black and brown people fighting for equality against the white man. Women fighting men for the vote. Gay and trans people fighting for various rights. Our young people have been taught that history is simply one long story about various groups struggling under the oppressive dead white man. Out with Dickens, Shakespeare, Kipling, and Wordsworth. We must decolonize. History is taught through an oppressor lens. The triangular slave trade, white men held the power. What about Britain ending the slave trade? More than a quick mention, if at all? No. What of the Arab slave trade that lasted 3 times as long as the triangular slave trade? No. Okay, so GCSE history in Britain is often taught as migration through time. So the idea that Britain has always been a land of immigrants is embedded in our children's heads. Most schools would prefer to concentrate learning about the tiny number of black people who existed in Tudor England over a thorough analysis of England's break from Rome. Medieval history becomes her story and is told through the eyes of Eleanor of Aquitaine, because after all, she was a woman. Not to mention weeks on King Mansa Musa of Mali, because he was a black Muslim. His bearing on British institutions, laws, and faith is non-existent. And the fact that he is said to have been the richest man in history, thanks in part to his massive slave-owning society, is a detail somehow that teachers rarely ever teach. But it isn't just our schools. It's our general culture, too. Take your kids to a museum or an art gallery in any Western country, and you'll find the same narrative. As an example, when learning about aviation in London's Science Museum and the extraordinary feat that is man making massive machines move in the sky, a write-up on the wall explains that women and black people were historically barred from aviation schools and the military. Similarly, James Watt, the man who invented the steam engine and is considered the founder of the Industrial Revolution, has a write-up on the wall explaining that his early career involved slave trafficking with a bonus analysis of the whole of Britain's complicity in the slave trade. They flatten the entire human story and all of its complexities into the narrative of oppressor and oppressed, leaving young people unable to see the world in any other terms.
There's one other thing that I want to show you from this woman because she's very on point, and this video just builds on that last video. It goes right side by side, and it's about the mass indoctrination around slavery and what really happened with slavery. This is important, and you should definitely listen to this.
Is that slavery was not about race, and it's important.
I'm just interjecting that there was another judge that is trying to block Trump, where they are removing all that propaganda that is in every display in the Smithsonian Institution, in the national parks. What she's talking about, what you see in Britain, has been all over ever since the Obama administration. They have pumped that propaganda where you can't walk in and learn anything without going, oh, by the way, did you know there were slaves back in the day? And that's the first thing you see when you go into displays. Trump ordered them taken down because they're divisive. And now you have a judge saying it's got to go back up. So something else that's going to go before the appeals court, the Supreme Court, and all this other stuff, so they can tear down our culture and warp the minds of our youth. But anyway, let her continue.
It was not about race. The only reason we think it's about race is because philosophers like David Hume in the 18th century ranked human beings and put Africans at the bottom, saying that they had no souls. The Enlightenment imposed the concept of race on a practice that had been going on for centuries in order to justify that practice. And why did they have to justify it? And this is the point. Because people in the West began to question slavery's moral validity. The fact is that people of all colors owned slaves, both as part of the Atlantic slave trade and outside of it. In the United States and Caribbean, black people owned thousands of black slaves, and so did the Native Americans. Nearly 20,000 of the Native American 5 civilized tribes sided with the Confederacy during the Civil War, fighting to keep slavery alive. 28% of the black population who were free in New Orleans pledged their support to the Confederacy. All of the 13 southern states of the Confederacy had substantial numbers of black slave owners. There were more than 250,000 free blacks, and nearly 4,000 of them were slave masters who owned more than 20,000 slaves. The practice of slavery was legal, after all. We need to remember that governments did not own slaves. Slave owners did. In fact, the U.S. government fought a war to end slavery. How much should the descendants of the 400,000 Union soldiers who lost their lives fighting to free the slaves pay to the descendants of the slaves they freed? It's bizarre to suggest that human beings should inherit the outrage of the deeds of their parents. Should the child of a mass murderer be sent to prison because of his father's crime? No. In America, in the main, it was the Democrats who owned slaves, and the Democrats who in the main passed and enforced Jim Crow laws. It was also the Democrats who founded the Ku Klux Klan. Should the current Democratic Party be held responsible for this? No. We do not inherit the sins of our
Inherit the sins of fathers. Since the Magna Carta, that's been referred to as corruption of blood. You can't corrupt a family's blood. You can't blame generations for earlier generations. So anyway, outlawed since the Magna Carta. Anyway, I'm glad I played that because it's a fact of life that slavery was everywhere for thousands of years. It's still going on in North Africa, the Middle East. And the only reason it's abolished to the greatest extent ever in human history is because of Western civilization, because of Britain, because of the United States Civil War. Okay? Otherwise, it'd be continuing just as it has since the beginning of time, thousands of years. Anyway, I have in my thumbnail about Kiev being bombed big time again. You got Trump saying open, that's where I got this picture. Unleash the gates of hell in Iran. Breaking Trump tells CENTCOM to unleash the gates of hell on Iran. White House calls an early lid. Well, Joe Biden's administration did that every foggy day. Every day, every single day. So before I went live, these were the reports floating in, flying in from, I could have sat there and just kept getting bombing reports. 8th day in a row, U.S. strikes reported in Sirik, Iran. 2 times explosions reported in Bandar Abbas, Iran. 2 times explosions in Chabahar, Iran. Trump states the U.S. will strike Iran hard again tonight. So they're going on as we speak. Explosions reported in Konrak. Explosions reported in the suburbs of Takab, West Azerbaijan province, Iran. And the Iranians are saying they're going to mobilize ground troops to go after who? Allegedly Kuwait. And there's continued bombing in the northern part of Iraq, where the Kurds are located. Okay? Remember I showed that the attacks were made on weapons dumps in Iraq by the Iranians? They're here with Russia. As a result of the Russian attack, the plant and warehouses of the Ukrainian company UkrTac, UKRTAC, one of the largest manufacturers of military equipment, bulletproof vests, backpacks, and armor plates, was destroyed. And they hit another huge facility. Here is the before and after. 100,000 square meters building. A Russian missile strike destroyed one of the largest logistics centers near Kiev, the Amtel complex, with an area of over 100,000 square meters, according to local sources. Earlier today, the Russian Ministry of Defense stated it struck Amtel Properties Logistics Center in the Kiev region. So, where I got some video of them. Oh my gosh, I'll put up some videos. This one, oh my goodness. Let me find the one here. This is an oil depot in Kuwait that's been struck. And, you know, it looks terrible. It is terrible. But you know what? John Wayne did a movie one time about wildcatters and how they put out oil. This is oil fire. They put an explosion right next to the source of the fire, and it sucks all the oxygen away and puts the fire out. But anyway, that's just the thing. What do I do when I play these videos? I say, "Where's Greta?" You know, she's talking about global warming. And I said it hundreds of times, how much this is happening all over the damn world, okay? For hours and hours and hours. And our little bit of automobile running or whatever we do isn't going to affect it one bit. Here's a scene from I think this is a manufacturing plant. Something benign, like they make jelly or something like that, blackberry jelly or something like that. But anyway, look at this smoke plume. That's smoke. Greta von Doomberg. what are we going to do to save the world? We're going to make people ride around in little electric bicycles and freeze their rear ends off during the winter, and outlaw barbecue stoves and fireplaces in houses. Greta von Doomberg, is that what we're going to do? Anyway, there's wildfires in here. Wildfires in Canada, but now this. Where's this? Helicopters dumping water. Over 400 people have been evacuated in Norway due to a major wildfire. We just heard about Norway, didn't we? Norway is scamming the UK with a little bit of access to North Sea oil. Now, all of a sudden, they got a major wildfire. More than 100 homes have been destroyed, which local media describes as the largest fire in the past 100 years. I'm not saying there's a connection. I'm just, here's some video of it. Some residents, I got two videos, yeah. This is the one in Norway, yeah. I got a similar video of that big defense plant burning. So, but this is in Norway, though. It's odd how whenever these key chokeholds on a world order are being threatened, then all of a sudden there's fires. Very odd, wouldn't you say? I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Here's that scene of that plant that got struck by ballistic missiles from Ruski land. Let me see. Wait a second. This is CNN? No, The Sun. Putin launches terrifying ballistic missile onslaught on Kiev after being humiliated by Ukraine's warehouse strikes. They say the attacks that they have made in Russia is causing our fuel prices, cost of diesel to go up in America. That's the claim. I don't know. That's the claim. Where'd that video go? Here's some other. So you got Kiev burning. You got multiple strikes. Russia is conducting a missile strike in Odessa, which is, I know people get bored, some people, but it is the southwestern part of Ukraine that's been pretty much untouched. And let me tell you, the way things are moving forward, people are going to be experiencing some hardships they never thought possible in Ukraine. I'm not wishing bad on them. I'm just telling them it's the way it is. Where in the world's that video of the... Well, anyway, let me see. Oh, this is the aftermath of some of the bombs in Kiev. Well, actual bombs hitting and then the aftermath. So, let's see. I think by the time I went live, they had launched like 50 ballistic missiles, most of them in Kiev or around the Kiev area. My last broadcast, I said it was the worst attack since the beginning of the war with Ukraine. And now this has exceeded that. And they're going after not only critical infrastructure, civilian power plants and stuff like that, but they're going after those big military facilities. So anyway, yeah, they'll be working until late in the night. And this is, I'm not sure if this is my, let's see what this is. Oh, this is more Kiev stuff. I can tell by that eagle in the top corner. That's CCTV footage of the Ukraine's equivalent of Grand Central Station. That's a train station that got bombed. Let me see what this is. Some of these, let me see what this is. Before I play it, I want to see if I got a what's it? Oh, this is an art. Let me see. Oh my goodness. Jumped off my screen. Where you at? Come on. Communists want to do away with the U.S. Senate. Yeah, this is the Democrat. I don't know if they call themselves socialists or what they call themselves. Party of America. What their platform is. Come on now. I'm having a hard time with my... There we go. Here's what you got in store if Zoran and his crowd wins out in AOC.
I would say that I'm against the Senate. I think the Senate's an undemocratic body. I'm for mechanisms to
well, what would replace it
in the short term?
What would check the? Are you for the House?
I personally, I think that whatever replaces the Senate should be decided through a constitutional convention, should be decided through our amendment process, should be decided through democratic deliberation among the American people. I personally would advocate for a stronger parliamentary-like system with a strong House.
Yeah, they need to be driven out. Definitely disqualified for government service. Yeah, communism is anathema to our way of life. Earthquake in Iran. Hi, Greg. How you doing? It could have been a bunker buster. 5.5 earthquake just hit Iran. That's funny how that works, isn't it? Could have been the mother of all bunker busters. What's this one? ICE arrests what abuela in New Mexico who's convicted drug trafficker. What's an abuela? I guess we'll find out. Who's this? Ian Roth. What network is this? NBC? What it looks like. Let's see.
We begin with an update today. DHS has identified that elderly woman arrested by ICE in Chaparral this week as a convicted drug trafficker. As we first told you, this video posted to FitFam Wednesday showed the woman, now identified as Martha Cias, asking for help at a convenience store after she believed she was being followed by ICE agents. A person in the Instagram comments who identified themselves as the woman's daughter claimed her mother has lived legally in the U.S. for more than 35 years and had for gas while on her way to a chemotherapy appointment. Now today, in a statement provided to KTSM, DHS says they arrested Cias during what the agency described as a targeted immigration enforcement operation, adding that Cias is a convicted methamphetamine trafficker and is subject to removal proceedings because of her criminal history. DHS says Cias has a hearing scheduled. Now, we've also reached out to the woman who claims she is Cias's daughter for comment, and we have not heard back as of this newscast.
Oh, she's an old woman. She's been living here for 35 years illegally. We should be nice, right? We should all be nice. Man, we got a lot of stuff to go over. Well, yeah, it's a drip. Now it's a flood. I'm glad you're doing good, Greg. Ha ha ha! Noodles for brains. That's right, Candace. Wendy, how you doing? Observe and don't absorb. The world's a stage. Well, yeah. Anyway, let me see. What do we have here? What do we have here? I'm going to finish up. Let's see. Steve Miller, you can't go wrong with that. Daily deportations on track. So anyway, folks, I'm going to be live again tomorrow. If you're subscribed, you'll know when I go live, right? Haha. So where'd my video go? So why don't you go ahead and do that if you haven't subscribed yet? We talked about a lot tonight. And I'm putting a link in. Here we go. There we go. My fingers are pudgy and it's kind of hard to get it just right. But anyway, folks, I want to thank everybody who went to buy me a coffee this week to help out. This is a totally viewer-supported channel. I'm not monetized on YouTube. Kapow, kaboom. And if you want to support the channel, in the chats, there's a link to buy me a coffee. I got another clip from Stephen Miller that I think you all will enjoy. What do I always say? I say thank you for spending your precious time with me, right? And I should be going live tomorrow night, Lord willing. So keep your chin up, and everybody, and I appreciate you all tuning in. Enjoy this clip from Stephen Miller. You all have a great night. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
Remember, President Trump signed an executive order a few weeks ago saying that we are not going to allow illegal aliens to use banking services in this country. You know, contrary to popular perception, the stupid phrase about illegal aliens living in the shadows. Illegal aliens don't live in the shadows. Illegal aliens have credit cards, they have bank accounts, and they're paid with direct deposit. So illegal aliens fully participate in the commercial systems, the financial systems of America. Shutting that down is a massive engine for deportation. And so the Treasury Department just issued new guidance to financial institutions, to banks. And so the next step in this process is us meeting individually with banks and financial institutions on cooperating with us to remove illegal aliens from the banking system. Once illegal aliens lose their access to capital, that is going to, again, be a major driver of self-deportation. So these are examples of a few of the things that we're doing to really get those numbers up dramatically and get people out of this country who don't belong.